Welcome to Central News. I'm Hilary Entwistle. In today's news, a group of students from the University of Waikato are representing New Zealand in a very prestigious IT business competition. Team Forte is the first team in New Zealand to make it past the preliminary round for the IT case competition. Team member Chris Williams says this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him and his team, but it doesn't come cheap.
Okay, well, we're the only New Zealand team to ever make it into this competition and make it through the preliminary round. We really would love people's support. They can jump online and like our Facebook. They can donate to our team account at any Westpac branch. They can send us donations via Facebook. Basically, just get involved, follow our journey, join us on Twitter, and check us out.
The Bay of Plenty Regional Council launched a jet ski safety campaign for the 2012-13 summer season, in an effort to remind people how to have fun safely on the region's waterways. As the number of jet skis has increased in recent years, so have the number of accidents, incidents and near misses in both the Waikato and the Bay of Plenty. They're as powerful and as fast as a car, but under current laws, anyone aged 15 years and over can be in charge of a jet ski with no licence required. Waikato Regional Council's manager of the Navigation Safety Program, Nicole Botherway, says it is important to remember a life jacket should be worn at all times, whether you are on a jet ski, boat or any vessel on the water.
Families are losing their loved ones because people aren't wearing life jackets. It's not enough just to carry them on board. It's only going to save your life or increase your chances if you've actually got it on.
Tauranga resident Marion Guy is the new president of the New Zealand Nurses Organisation, one of the few positions in the world. Despite having only just received news of the election last week, Marion already has big plans for the 46,000 member strong organisation. She says the profession needs a whole lot more positive encouragement. She feels like they've lost their way a little bit and that they need to go back to the basics and remember why they became nurses. The electoral process recently changed from a rule book to a constitution. Normally the presidency would have been announced in September, but instead the voting took place during an 8-week period beginning over Christmas. Now for our region's weather. Hamilton, your Tuesday is looking sunny with a light wind. Your expected high is 28 and an overnight low of 13. Tauranga, your Tuesday is fine as well, but you will have an easterly. Your expected high is 25 and an overnight low of 15. Just ahead, a warmer home for some Waikato families. Welcome to Central News on TV Central. A new project throughout our region called 270 could give your children the warmth they need over the winter months for free. Amy spoke with Detre Tamatea to find out the effects of a cold, damp home.
Yes, having a cold, damp home has a huge impact on the health and well-being of the people that live in that house, and in particular it can cause respiratory problems and respiratory disease, asthma, cot death, even rheumatic fever, all have been tied to having cold, damp homes. So there really isn't many sort of infectious diseases that people can catch, particularly children, that don't relate to having a cold, damp home or poverty.
Okay, so a new initiative has been created to keep children warm over those winter months. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Oh, basically, ICA has funded a couple of installation companies and they've sourced third-party funding, and that enables them to provide free ceiling and floor installation to families that are high needs that meet specific criteria. And once the house has been insulated, obviously it's a lot drier, it's a lot warmer, and when it is warmed up through whatever heating devices in the home, it remains warmer for a longer period of time, and that has a direct impact on the health and well-being of the people that live in it.
So who came up with this initiative and how many homes do you hope to improve over our region?
Well, it is driven by ICA and the insulation companies, but it is also supported by the DHB, and I'm the head of the Māori Health Unit within the DHB, and our role is to lead out the promotion and the marketing of what's available to high needs families. One of the things about those installation companies is that while they've sourced the funding to provide a free installation service, they don't have strong relationships or connections into disadvantaged groups. As a Māori Health Unit, We do. We have obviously strong relationships with Māori providers, Pacific providers, Māori community, Pacific community, and other ethnic groups which are low income. And so yes, it's our relationships that enable us to actually promote access to that service.
So who ends up with the financial cost?
Financial cost is absorbed both by IKA and the installation companies. So there is no cost to the people who actually applied for the installation, as long as they meet the criteria. And basically what they do is they put in an application, and the criteria is this. First of all, you have to be a community services card holder, whether you're the primary owner of the house or whether you're the primary tenant in the house. You have to have a community services card, and it has to be current. The second thing is you need to make sure that you've got children living in your house under the age of 16, because we want to target at families that actually have children, because children, by the virtue of being children, being young, are vulnerable. The other thing is the house can't be a Housing New Zealand home. That's because Housing New Zealand actually has its own initiative around insulation and warming up its houses. So it can't be a Housing New Zealand home, and it has to be built before 2000. Basically because houses after 2000, generally speaking, are insulated and are built to be warm and dry. The other thing is that it needs to be within Hamilton or 80 k's out from Hamilton. So basically we're looking at areas such as Hamilton City, Huntly, Ngarawahia, Te Kaupata, out to Paeroa, Raglan, Te Kuiti, Otorahanga. Those types of areas are able to access this installation.
And how will the new initiative benefit families around our region?
I think one of the things obviously is that when you insulate a house, it becomes drier and warmer and easier to maintain heat within the house, so that has a direct impact on the health and well-being of the family. One of the things that we're also looking to do is we've partnered with the fire department in Hamilton, and what we're looking to do is to get a free fire assessment and free smoke alarms into those houses as well, if people so wish. That'll make the house a little bit more safer. One of the other things that we're looking to do is to see if we can offer social service support and whānau order support to those high needs whānau as well. So you'll get a house which is warmer and drier, and you'll get a house which is safer, and you also get these families which are high need connected up to services that can help them with any social issues that they may be facing. Basically, there's an understanding that those different sectors, if you like, health, energy efficiency, fire department, social services, whānau order collectives, all have an interest in working with high needs families, and this is about coming together and working together to make a difference for those families.
So how does this project fit into the Project 270?
Project 270 is basically a project which targets child poverty or whānau poverty, and we call it 270 because there's 270,000 kids within Aotearoa New Zealand that live below the poverty line. Many more live on the poverty line or just above it. And 270 comprises of a number of different phases. One is to create warmer, drier homes which are safer. We want to connect those families up with social support agencies and whānau order collectives that can provide them with support around social issues. We also are looking at health practitioners and GPs in schools, and just making sure that the allocation of those types of services in those schools is targeted where the need is, so low income schools. And in particular, also one of the other things we're wanting to do is to do a drive with, I guess, charitable organisations to put food in low-income schools as well. So what you'll get is houses which are warmer and drier, families which are in a safer environment, families which are supported, food for kids, and also access, more readable access, I guess, to health services.
And how can viewers find out more information?
I guess if you want to go on the DHB website and go under Māori Health, you'll be able to find information about the free insulation initiative that we've got running. Alternatively, between Monday and Friday, 8:30 to 5, you can contact Māori Health directly here at the District Health Board, and we'll be able to assist you with any queries they have.
For more info and an application form, visit waikatodhb.health.nz/Te Puna Oronga. Up next, we meet up with a world champion. Welcome back. A world kickboxing middleweight champion has been preparing for the next world title in Tauranga. I caught up with Steve Moxon to find out how our facilities compare worldwide.
Yeah, it's been great training out of Warrior Muay Thai in Tauranga. I researched before I come over from Australia and wanted to find the best trainers in the area, and I've definitely done that.
So how do our kickboxing facilities compare to the rest of the world?
Well, I've had the chance to train in the UK, Vegas, Holland, and definitely here the love of the sport that the whole community shows is just above all, so it's been great.
Now, you do actually admire Mike Tyson. Why is that?
Well, Mike Tyson, just like I am, one of the shortest fighters in the division, and my style is all about power and ferociousness and knocking people out. That's what it's all about.
How did you get the nickname Stone Cold Steve Moxon?
Yeah, well, I actually just come from my days in high school where I used to enjoy wrestling, but it just stuck, and now my personality in the ring, I'm the nice guy, but when I'm in the ring, I'm stone cold. I'll knock you out and feel nothing about it.
Now, you are known in the industry for being quite highly motivated and really dedicated to the sport. What actually drives you?
Well, to be honest with you, at the end of the day, my girlfriend is actually 13 weeks pregnant, and you know, so it comes down to that's my job: knock people out, earn money, and keep going up the ladder to the top.
So I guess that money's driving you?
Yeah, money, the joy of the sport, meeting people, travelling, and getting paid to do it.
Can you tell us about some of your achievements so far? Yeah,
well, I'm actually the middleweight South Pacific champion, so that's the Australian and New Zealand champion, as well as the World Kickboxing Federation middleweight world champion. So that's pretty much, as high as it gets, and I've only got further to push.
A lot of women actually get into kickboxing for the fitness and for the self-defence kind of thing. As being one of the best in the world, would you actually recommend it for that?
Most definitely, I'd recommend it. I see lots of women come in and they actually are probably more dedicated than the guys. They come in and stay in and they train hard day in, day out, whereas guys I find it too easy to make excuses, and the girls are definitely tougher.
Now, you are actually from a small town, so what is the response when you go back home?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I made the front page of the local paper, so it doesn't get much better than that.
Now, kickboxing is actually derived from Muay Thai, from Thailand, and you have trained in Thailand. Was it quite different there?
It's totally different. It's a lot more a spiritual sport when you're there, so it's hard, and it's actually good to immerse yourself in it and learn about it, not just go there and try and hurt people. It's more of a sport there. They respect each other, even in the ring when they're fighting. There's a lot of respect, but at the end of the day, I'm not in there to play a game of tennis. I'm in there to knock you out. So.
You are one of the shorter fighters in your division. Do you actually think that gives you an advantage?
Well, I use it to my advantage. So I have to be powerful and fast and move around a lot, whereas the tall guys have to not let me in close, but when they do, it's not a good place for them. So, it's basically up to me to make it my advantage, being the shorter person.
And I suppose your reach would be quite a lot shorter as well.
My reach is shorter, so I have to move around. And I've always learnt the less you can get hit, the longer your career can be.
Now, when you're not training, you're actually coaching. What do you actually get out of that?
I actually find it really rewarding, especially training kids and stuff like that. It's rewarding to see, they're like sponges. The kids come in and they want to learn, and it's something that I never got to learn. I didn't know the sport existed when I was a kid. I started when I was 18 years old, so that was only 7 years ago. So, I enjoy training, teaching other people. And not even if they might not even want to fight, they might just want to come in for fitness. And once again, like me, I weighed 90 kilos at 18 years old, and now I fight at 70 kilos. So I come in for fitness. I just learnt and kept learning, and then I fought and then kept fighting. When
your career is over, what are you wanting to do after that?
I'd love to have my own gym. Run a gym with my girlfriend Kelly would be great. Seems though she's into fitness as well. And teach other people, do seminars at different gyms, and just travel around would be amazing.
Now the World Champs is coming up. What's your training regime for that?
Yeah, well, coming here I thought it might be, a bit easy. I'll come and check out some gyms and train, but Trevor and Reggie, the trainers out of Warrior Muay Thai in Tauranga, are really pushing me hard. We're doing strength work and running and hill sprints and sparring, so I'm actually very thankful for that. So I am training really, really hard, and it's only the start of my preparation.
And when is the World Champs?
So I'm fighting for the A1 World title against Johan Lidon from France, and that's February 22 in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia.
Stay tuned, as up next we have an important message from the Waikato Regional Council. If you have just joined us, welcome to Central News. With summer upon us, water sports are at a high, but are you taking the safety measures needed to keep friends and family safe? Nicole Botherway tells us about the current boating rules in the Waikato.
Yes, as with any sort of sports, there's some sort of element of risk, and I think when most people undertake any sort of sport, they go through and they learn the rules. A lot of people, and certainly not everyone, but a lot of people buying vessels, they're getting kayaks, and they're going out on the water and not actually knowing the rules, and that can cause risk for anyone. I don't think the water sort of gets the respect that it deserves, and it can be quite unforgiving, in fact more so than the road.
So what are the main tips for keeping safe out on the water?
There's lots of different ways that you can do that. Probably the thing that we like to encourage people the most is to actually do a boating education course, and there you can meet sort of other like-minded people. You can learn all the rules in a really great environment. They're a lot of fun to do, and you can pick up tips and hints from each other. The main sort of, I guess, the official rules, the national rules, is to have life jackets on board, and that those life jackets have to be appropriate for all of the people on board, the appropriate fit, and also in a readily accessible situation, so they can't be locked away. You need to be able to get to them quickly if you need to.
Can you expand on the life jacket safety rules?
Yeah, so as I was saying before, so the national rules are that you need to carry enough life jackets on board for all of your occupants. They need to be readily accessible, so if something happens you need to be able to get them very, very quickly, and they need to be an appropriate fit for everyone on board. Some of the research that we've done over the summer has shown that the life jacket fit, especially for children, is really inappropriate. They're quite often too big because people are expecting them to grow into them, but I don't think people realise that your child will actually slip out of it, and if they're too small it means that it won't actually be able to hold their weight in the water, so both too small and too big can be dangerous.
So do these rules vary from region to region?
Yes, they do. Some regions have the life jacket rule that you also need to be wearing your life jacket in a vessel 6 metres and under, and Waikato Regional Council has that out in their draft bylaw at the moment, which we're asking people to submit in. If this was to come in, then we would be the 6th regional council to bring that in, so there's 5 others that have already got that in at the moment, and it's certainly where a lot of the people are starting to talk.
Now, you are currently collecting submissions from members of the public to post feedback on the rules around wearing life jackets. What results have you had so far, and when will the meetings for this begin? The meetings for the hearings are in March. The actual submissions that people have put in, that hasn't closed yet, so we can't talk about the specifics of what is in those submissions. What we did as something that we wanted to do as a sort of extra special way to get submissions in and also to get people to know the rules, is we went out and we did pre-consultation. So before the draft was even finished, we went out and we did meetings all over our region where we could talk about what things were important to the community, and we actually had them to help us do our draft, and it was a lot of that feedback. In fact, over 80% of the people in there, and also our telephone interviews, that wanted compulsory life jackets in the vessels, and some of those were bigger than what we actually brought in. Some of it said 8 metres, but 6 metres seems to be the Maritime New Zealand statistics. Most of their statistics are that I think it's approximately 80 to 85% of all incidents take place in vessels 6 metres and under, and that's why we've chosen 6 metres as our rule. So how can members of the public send in their feedback?
Sure. On our website page, so that's www.waikatoregion.gov.nz, there's a bylaw page. You can go through and do your submissions online, so it's really easy for everyone. We've also got links there for educational material. We do a lot of bar crossing days, and we want to encourage people to actually go out and learn the rules and also have their chance to shape them as well.
So what should people do if they find themselves getting into trouble when in boating activities?
So I think you actually get into trouble usually because you haven't done a lot of pre-preparation. So it's prepare, just like you would prepare for an earthquake or any sort of emergency. Tell everyone on board where the life jackets are, make sure that everyone knows how to use the VHF radio and that they know what the emergency channels are. Putting your cell phone in a dry bag is a really, really good idea. It means that if you end up in the water, your cell phone's not ruined and you can actually call for help. Having your vessel named is really, really important, and that's a search and rescue piece of advice, and a lot of it's written into the bylaws now. And the reason that is if you are looking for a aluminium boat or a white Haynes Hunter, there's a lot of them out there. So if the Coast Guard are looking for a certain name, they can discount a whole lot of them and make the rescue a lot quicker.
So what's the number one message here?
Families are losing their loved ones because people aren't wearing their life jackets. You don't necessarily have to be doing anything wrong, just like when you're on the road you wear your seatbelt, not because you think anything's going to happen, but because accidents do happen. I think people underestimate how easy it is to put on a life jacket once you're in the water, and especially children. All of the teams responsible for navigation safety want to see our water resources, both inland waterways and coastal, used to their full potential. It's a beautiful resource. We want people to have fun. At the end of the day, we want people to go home to their families, and that's just the message that we want to get through.
And what were the number one causes for concern before the draft bylaw was released?
Sure. A lot of people talked about what they'd like to see, and some of the comments that came back is that they were very, very concerned about the consumption of alcohol, especially by the skipper on the boats, and also that a lot of people were unaware of the rule that you actually keep right, not keep left, like the road, and that's causing a lot of accidents, but also frustration by the people that do know the rules. So we really encourage people to do those boating education courses. They're easy to do, great environments, but you can also do them online if you're a really busy person like most of us get.
That is the news for today. We really want you to be involved, so like us on Facebook and let us know your views. If you have news including your own video and photos, go to our website and hit upload. Thanks for joining us. I will be back tomorrow night with more guests from in and around the regions. I'm Hilary Entwistle. Have a lovely evening.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.